Yo, hey guys, it's Beast, back with some more beastly content. Today we are going to be covering the dailies of a one-man hive. So while the initial hours of setting up the one-man hive as well as building it out can go into an infinite number of hours, the actual daily time that you actually need to play on a one-man hive actually seems to be a little bit less than what you would have to do if you were actually playing solo. So we begin our day off just by collecting all of the digbees. Now we start at the very top mountain area base. We collect all the digbees as well as all the grow shrooms up here. I actually go through and collect all my grow shrooms while I'm collecting my digbees. Now I don't actually smelt my ingots every single day. However, when I do smelt my ingots, we have a lot of ingots to be smelting. So once we've harvested the up top area, we're also going to come back down to this area and we're just going to go ahead and collect this grow shroom right here. This is my beets plot actually. So we've collected blueberry seeds and blueberries as well as oranges and beets. The next thing we're actually going to go ahead and do is just go back up here. It actually turned out we had some stuff just chilling on the stove ready to collect already. We also grow wheat, so we have malt ales being made here as well as a ton of blueberry soda. 444 blueberry soda will fill an entire wish box. So you can wonder as to why it is that we are growing the blueberry soda. It's super duper easy to grow. You can collect thousands a day. You get thousands of blueberry sodas a day to feed to your wish boxes every single day. That's my base feed for the wish boxes. And then we also have the malt ales, energy drinks, and things like that. So once we've actually collected the beets and turned that into sugar, and we get a little bit of a start on the soda, mainly just storing most of our blueberries and orange seed is for now so that we can come back later and make blueberry soda. We also usually turn our saffron either into energy drinks or what is currently being made into breeding boost fertilizer. The reason why we're making the breeding boost fertilizer is because I'm starting to get into my crops facility just a little bit more. As you can see, we've got the Morphix moved from this one to another one. It actually turns out we have 3 more in this little growth facility here. So we drop down from the zip line here. This is the third section we're going to harvest. Just another grow shroom full of beets. We're actually going to go ahead and head to the kitchen now and just go ahead and smelt those out into some more sugar. So once we've actually done that, we are now on the other side, the final floor I like to call it. So we're actually going to go through here and we're going to collect all of the digbees here as well as the grow shroom here. This one is our primary wheat grow shroom. We usually get about 1,000 wheat just from this one. We might stop by Old Captain Moore and have ourselves a drink and contemplate life. However, yeah, so this is Captain Noor. He's great company, great distraction, but regardless, here are the rest of the digbees now for this one. We're gonna go ahead and collect the rest of these, and we're gonna make our way up top on the top part of this facility. That's actually where I've been storing most of my morphic plants at, all of my, morphic chest plants. They give you tons of loot. I have 8 out of 10 here. You can have up to 10 of them per plot. So what I like to do actually is move all the completed morphic biomechanical grafts that I have that went through and succeeded onto one plot. That way all the other plots, they have 10 times a 3% chance or whatever the percentage chance is of it actually becoming a biomechanical morph. You can actually have like 10 of them with a chance of becoming biomorphs instead of 1 or 2 because there's already a couple biomorphs. I just like to move them all to one plot, fill that plot up, and go on to the next. That way the rest of the plots can be used to grow more biomechanicals. That's another thing I like to do. That's really the thing is this digby harvest takes me like 7 minutes total, 7 to 8, 10 minutes, something like that. And then the smelt also doesn't take very long. Currently we are stacking up our stuff. The other thing I wanted to mention here is while I do use Sulfur Chemist on a lot of the alts to actually create acid, I also have contaminated blueberries growing on in this facility. And this grow facility is actually one of the least complete grow facilities I actually have, so that's why the contaminated berries don't actually grow that fast. We do have a chest stacking up full of the contaminated berries. I do need to be getting converted into acid ASAP, but as you can see here, on to the final digby chambers right here. We're just going to fly through here and harvest all of these as well. It really is a blast to just every single day, once a day, go through and collect these. You can even let these stack up for a while. I mean, these can stack for a couple days before you collect them. You're going to end up with like 100k of each ore when you do that. This is just under 70 digbees, I do believe, and they're all 4-4, 3-4s, things like that. A lot of dice digbees. I have a 5-5. I have a lot of 4-4s. And then we're on to the final plot facility here of the one-man hive. One final wheat facility here. As you can see here, we came out with a total of 1.7k wheat that we are going to be turning into malt ales. If you did not know, 100 malt ales actually will fill an entire wish box and be giving back mostly what is deviated crops, as well as some other things that can be broken down into key materials. Super duper worth collecting there. Another thing is I have a lot of paper dolls here and then a few of the H37s. The reasoning for the paper dolls actually is that I want to get as many metal scraps as I can. Matter of fact, I just bought 40k from somebody on the server. Regardless, I want to get as many metal scraps as I can because it actually turns out that 400, I do believe it's 400, it might be 444. Regardless, that many number of fuses will actually also fill a wish box, and it will actually replace ingots as a feed item. You can actually just feed fuses instead. So like I said, our Stellar Stowaway is only 2 days away from a reset, so while my primary smelt chest is already packed to the brim and overflowing into other chests, I decided to make separate chests for copper, tin, and iron, in which I'm just going to keep bulking up every single day until the Stellar Stairway actually does finally reset. Once it resets, I'm just going to smelt through all the ores. There's no reason to hang on to it for another time because I'm going to have so many more Digby collects by the time the next phase of the Stellar Stairway unlocks. Once this one actually unlocks, because we've been maxed out since like day 2 of, or it's literally day 1, every single Stellar Stairway, I just maxed it out with ingots. I mean, I've been doing this for months and months now, every single time I do a One Man Hive. But regardless, now that all the Digbies are actually harvested, we actually went to our purified water setup and went ahead and collected there. We need some purified water because it's purified water and wheat in order to actually make the malt ales that we're going to be making. So, like I said, I like to make malt ales daily. These take the longest cooking time-wise, so I like to do them on one specific character. It handles all my malt ales because it is a good, it's pretty much a day crafting time per stack. I mean, technically 2 stacks will craft at one time on these stoves, but regardless, it is a long crafting time for the malt ale, so you really want to be doing it on one specific character. That's the other thing about playing on the One Man Hive, you may have noticed by now, is I actually swap around on my characters. And another thing I wanted to mention about the ingots and the ores and things like that is usually I will just smelt them, but I will smelt them across all the characters. It's actually how I reached all of my characters to being level 50 literally by phase 3 of commissions. Super duper easy. We literally just ingoted it all the way. I didn't go challenge silos, I didn't go challenge tree ant, I literally just smelted ingots till level 50 on 8 different characters here. And as you can see here, I just went out and gathered some tungsten the other day. I wanted to get just a decent little stockpile up. I think we're doing all right on that. We're also going to go ahead and grab some glass because we did store those blueberries, and orange is up in that fridge right here. So now we can just literally take some glass in there and start spamming out blueberry sodas and orange sodas. We're actually going to do this until we fill all the stoves, swap to another character, and continue to be crafting the blueberry and the orange sodas. All of these are going to be fed to the wish box today. We are going to be getting into that. That really is my only main daily that I want to get done, is getting my wish boxes fed, but part of feeding them is also the production process of making the orange sodas, making the blueberry sodas, smelting your ingots up and using ingots, which, by the way, ingots are way better for batteries, just so you know. Way more likely to get a lot more batteries than using ingots, but ingots do require a lot of Digbies. Fuses are another option. If you just want to have a bunch of paper dolls, maybe you can make a whole bunch of fuses, and these would actually also solve your need and give the exact same stuff as ingots. So definitely something we're going to investigate in the future. When I do redo my Wishbox 101 guide video, I do actually plan on covering fuses as an alternate to the ingots. However, for now, what we're doing now is just gathering up all of our sulfur, and we're just going to make ourselves up to the very top base plot for now, and we're going to go through all of these large refineries, and we're just going to fill them to the brim with as much sulfur as they can hold. Now, I don't actually fill these every single day. I usually let it stack up until I have at least 50k of sulfur, 50 stacks, and then I'm able to go through and I have like 3 plots worth of these refineries. So this is plot number 2, and then we got one more plot after this, so it has a couple more refineries. This one's also missing power because I guess we need to adjust our power a little bit more. Like I said, I'm considering this finished mainly because Endless Dreams Fictional just came out. I want to go. I want to go to the Visional, guys. I cannot believe that I'm playing on a perma server that does not have Visional. That just seems so backwards because other perma servers that are Visional will get the next version of Visional when it finally releases, and this perma server will never get a single bit of Visional content. And the only reason why most of us played it is because Endless Dreams release did not include the Visional version like they said it was. It almost seems like they just wanted us to play this release and then go replay it again on the Starfallen version. Does make me a little sad Inversion's actually coming for Endless Dream. I was actually hoping they just forgot about it and we're just gonna, release some actual new content. Does look like if we want to play the Visional Inversion event, we might actually have to make another character or take the One Man Hive, God forbid, to the next inversion. But as you can see, what we're doing now is just feeding the wish boxes. Now, I did get 8 of the new Endless Dream wish boxes, the TV wish boxes. I will say that overall their stats are higher. They do get more power and mood, considerably a larger amount, just like the H37s from Endless Dreams. But overall, their core mechanics function the exact same. You can just use the original OG wish boxes. I haven't noticed, at least, a significant difference in the yields from their materials. However, I do believe that things like being 5.5 or 4.4 or things like that are actually going to affect the output in which you are getting from it. So you might actually want to try and get as many 5/5 wish boxes in your array as possible. I'm not too worried about it. We are going to be adding 8 of the TV ones today in this video, just so that maybe we can see. It's really hard to compare too. It's really hard to test this out. I guess I'd have to do a perfect side-by-side comparison of the exact same number of wish boxes, but then also I'd want to be using my highest rarity wish boxes with the highest, 4/4, 5/5, whatever I have of the OG ones, and then also of these new wish box ones that are a lot easier to get 4/5s and 5/5s and 4/4s and perked ones and everything like that. I don't actually seem to notice any cool specific traits for wish boxes that make them specifically give more materials. That would be really cool to see in the future, is specific perks for the wish boxes that apply only for wish boxes that actually like make their material yield better or something like that. Don't get me wrong, we get a ton of stuff out of these wish boxes. We get everything from deviated crops, we get golden ammo, we get stardust source even, we get all kinds of foods, so much food in fact, that I actually take this food and I just bulk throw it all into a Rot 1 and 2 chest, and it actually creates for me passive spoiled food in the thousands and thousands and thousands of. It's so amazing. As you can see here though, here are 8 of these Dream Zone wish boxes. I do like the design, I will admit. It's a nice change up having the wish boxes look a little different, and they do have a lot more power and mood and things like that. I'm not quite sure if they're giving more material yield or not. I went ahead and replaced 8 of mine for now. That's all the reality frags I currently have. But regardless, here is a disassemble of the average amount of tools that we get. Now, as you can see here, we're keeping that one specific tool there because it's a 15-second cloak. I stock those up. I never disassemble those because those are just so helpful in point of interest if I want to choose to do a point of interest. The reason why someone like me, being a one-man hive, getting all this material, as you can see here, look at all of that material there. I don't think this was a full collect either. I think I did this because I had to in order to continue going. But regardless, this wasn't blueberry sodas. Or anything. This was mainly malt ales and energy drinks on the first fill. This was our first fill, and this was only malt ales and energy drinks, and we still got 173 of the electronic parts. When we do blueberries, we get a ton of electronic parts. Now, when it comes to storage batteries in the raw output, your best bet is going to be white items like ingots, or you can do fuses. We will be covering that in the future. This is mainly just a coverage of I'm doing my dailies right now, and as you can see here, we have Rot 1 and 2, and I throw all kinds of things in here that I honestly should be keeping. I get all kinds of good foods. I get all the gold hides. I get all the gold meat from the energy drinks. I get all the deviated crops from the malt ales. The ingots provide me with even storage batteries. I have a good number. I think almost 300 storage batteries at the current point. I'm able to make thousands and thousands and thousands of the cold rock ore anytime I want, and the hot rock ore I also have thousands being made up from sulfur. I have slacked a little bit on the actual trade goods farm that I'm using in game. However, I was able to actually complete 4 out of 8 of my characters vendors entirely, all 10 of them on 4 characters. That's a decent amount done, all only from what I've done here. And I've also been slacking super bad on the hot rock collection. Actually, I haven't been feeding sulfur in forever for hot rock. I've actually been using it a little bit for some acid. That's the other thing. I really need to start getting the contaminated berries going on more. I need to complete that crop facility so that it grows at the fastest pace, and I also need to be getting, hopefully in the future, some more growth boost fertilizer boosted out. As you can see here though, this was our second collect. As you can see, full disassemble. We also got 150 total of the mixed fuel. I do believe I just spent some of that. We did go ahead and pull our composite crystals out because this is actually more of a weekly. I actually have to go through on every single character and go through and max out my vendor cap. We just go from vendor to vendor, maxing it out. It's only 4 of these composite crystals. And when we actually want to transfer the money over to my main or say somewhere else, my main has a vendor set up with copper ingots in it that sell for 2k EL each. So what I'll do is go on to the other character, buy out as many ingots as I can, and that much EL is just direct deposited right to my main account. And since I'm playing on my secondary account here, I actually sent all my money from my main to my alt Steam account device account, and then sent all that money over to my second character on my main Steam. That way I don't have to go through and set up a whole bunch of vending machines or anything. I can just handle it all from one device to another and then pass it off to the next. But with that, I do believe this is about the end of my dailies. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode.